So first give me a little background on how you both got the part.
Well, I got the part through the casting director, Pippa Hall. She actually remembered me from a past audition, actually my first ever audition I ever had. And she asked for me, and I went up, and then I went up again. And the second time I actually went up, I met Andrew, and that was really the first audition, I suppose. And Anna was there. And through this 18-month auditioning process, Anna and I were sort of stuck together. There was some bond formed from the start. There was, you know, some dynamics already as a family that I think Andrew noticed.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very long casting process, 18 months from start to finish. And at first, you kind of try not to be too emotionally involved and try not to be nervous about it. And I think by the last couple of weeks, we were a nervous wreck. I mean, we both so wanted the parts, and we were just ecstatic.
We were falling apart. You know, and it actually came down to a point where I was like, you know, my schoolwork or the film project, and cause I couldn't focus my attention on both, unlike Anna. And I finally just chose, you know, the film, and fortunately it worked out. Otherwise, the consequences could have been devastating, but they were, of course, uplifting.
So Andrew was such a big fan of the books and had such a vision in his head of what he wanted. Was he really, really strict on how he wanted your characters to be, or did he give you some freedom with the characters?
Andrew was great. I mean, I think one of the lovely things about C.S. Lewis's writing is that he writes with this kind of vague tone, which doesn't patronise you. It leaves things to the imagination. Susan, I think, is probably the least developed in the book of the four characters. And we took C.S. Lewis's vague tone and really built on the Susan that was in the book. And developed it more. I mean, I know it's the same with Peter, really. Well,
I think for my character, Andrew really wanted to get that arc across, that this was a boy going to a man. And I think with Andrew and myself, we just really were going for the same things, that it was me essentially going through this this Narnia experience and this on-set experience as William Moseley. And then at the end of the day, I think, you know, Andrew's attention to detail is formidable. What he saw when he was 8 years old is what you see on the screen today. His imagination has gone beyond everyone's expectations, especially mine and Anna's. I suppose mine. And then, you know, it's just, I think Andrew is an amazing man.
Yeah, he's so nice.
So coming from doing the Shrek films and not really working with humans,
did
he seem to just move right into it?
I think it's the love for the film, I think, really, and the love for the stories. And I don't think he was making a film as much for everyone else, but for himself, you know. And I think he was doing. I think he felt the responsibility of how much he loved the stories and how he wanted a decent, you know, a very good interpretation of the film.
So you both have some pretty key scenes with Aslan.
Yeah.
How tricky is that to, you know, a character that's there, and then what was it like to see that all finished?
Yeah, I mean, it was a new challenge acting to things that weren't there for me, and it started out as being very weird, but we got used to it quite quickly. And seeing it was great, because although we'd seen bits and pieces of previs and early animation, we hadn't seen the finished stuff. And not only was I convinced by these animals as animals, but also as characters. I think the beavers are so funny, and I really dug them as a married couple.
Aslan's actually my favourite character, and to finally see him finished and walking and talking was absolutely amazing, and it gave me chills to see, because it's almost as though you can't tell the difference from a real line to a fake line. I remember one day on set when the head of visual effects came up to me and he showed me this monitor, and he said, "Hey William, have a look at this." You know, I forgot this is the head of visual effects. You know, and I said it was a picture of a lion walking down the street with two girls, and I said, "Wow, how do you get that lion to do that?" He's like, "That's not a real lion, that's visual effects," and he was so pleased with himself. And the funny thing was, it was actually he said it was only halfway there, so to see the real lion and to see it finally finished was amazing.
So the last question I have for you. How excited are you to return for more stories, and has Andrew given you any background on what's next for your characters?
Oh, I mean, we know nothing.
We know nothing.
Nothing at all, huh?
You'd think we'd be in the know about it, but we're not. I think they're just trying to get this movie out there first and then kind of see what happens.
I would love to do another film. I think Anna would as well.
Yeah.
You know, we just had such an amazing time making this film. How could we not want to do another one? How could we not want to have further experiences? But we just have to wait. We just have to see what they want to do, how this does, and at the end of the day, just, you know, hope for the best.